couple days ago, I asked Sarge for a little pussy. And the next day, he brought you onto the team.
Welcome to Hypercut Chronicles.
On October 22nd, 2005, Doom hit theaters, a movie adaptation of the iconic video game franchise that gave its name to an entire genre, the Doom-likes, now simply called first-person shooters, or FPS. In the original game, you play as a Marine, the infamous Doom guy, sent to Mars to take down a full-blown invasion of demons straight from hell. The franchise had a massive impact on the video game industry. It was among the first games to use immersive 3D graphics and to let players go all out in multiplayer deathmatches. With the 2004 release of Doom 3, which was both a commercial and critical juggernaut, it was only a matter of time before Hollywood stuck its nose in. The film kicks off with a Stargate portal to Mars being discovered in the desert. Years later, when the Mars research facility gets overrun, a bunch of Marines is sent in to save the day. Universal kicked off the Doom movie project in the early 2000s, tapping Andrzej Bartkowiak as director. He'd spent much of his career as a cinematographer, working with Sidney Lumet on a string of films, as well as John Huston, and shooting pictures like Falling Down, Speed, and U.S. Marshals in the 90s. He moved to directing in the early 2000s and specialized in action flicks, Romeo Must Die, Cradle to the Grave with Jet Li, and Exit Wound starring the master of Bullshido, the ponytail god himself, Steven Seagal. For the cast, Karl Urban, fresh off Lord of the Rings, is our heart of gold hero.
Fucking diebomb.
Rosamund Pike had just bounced off a lousy James Bond and Pride and Prejudice and plays the scientist's sister. But most importantly, this marks one of the earliest movie roles for Dwayne, The Rock Johnson. It's hard to ignore Dwayne Johnson these days. Not just because he's built like a fridge, over 6'3" and 260 pounds. Must be all the broccoli and chicken breasts.
I think I can smell shite.
But because he's become one of Hollywood's biggest stars, the man is now a brand. He saved Fast and Furious, Los Angeles, Hong Kong, the DC Universe.
Not a great plan.
The Jungle, several times, and will probably save America as a whole at some point. Before he was a businessman and an influencer, and after life in pro wrestling, Dwayne Johnson was, believe it or not, an actor, and a pretty likable one. Not far from his ring persona, he started out playing charismatic guys with a signature eyebrow raise. But unlike a certain muscle-bound predecessor-turned-politician who managed his career by teaming up with talented filmmakers, Dwayne Johnson has mostly chosen impersonal, deadweight projects, always to keep that squeaky clean public image intact. But who knows what the future holds? $70 million. That's the gigantic budget handed to this adaptation, with a big chunk blown on visual effects by John Farrat, who previously worked on The Mask and The Nutty Professor. Farrat also handled the most famous part of the movie, the POV FPS scene, which took 14 days to shoot. For the creature effects, Stan Winston Studio, famous for Jurassic Park and Terminator, did the animatronics and prosthetics. But when Doom hit theaters, it tanked. The film failed to recoup its budget, scraping together only $58 million worldwide. Critics shat all over it, and even the actors would later express their regret over the whole thing. So, what went wrong? Here's what Doom the game is all about. And Doom the movie? This.
Destroyer! Come in!
1 hour 40 of badly lit industrial hallways and unbearable characters spewing whatever random lines came to mind.
If it's trying to kill you, it's a threat.
It's a total train wreck, both industrially and artistically. But then, that's par for the course when it comes to video game adaptations. Ever since video games exploded into the mainstream in the late 80s, turning into art and popular entertainment, Hollywood has been sniffing out new ways to cash in, hoping to get both moviegoers and gamers into theater seats. For over 30 years now, studios have stubbornly tried to adapt every damn franchise under the sun. From Super Mario Bros. To Mortal Kombat, Resident Evil, Max Payne, Uncharted, you name it, all these attempts have been almost every time a disaster. Narrative failures, aesthetic disasters, and a waste of time and money for everyone involved, especially the viewers. Honestly, what's the point? Video games are art, the 10th art form, even maybe the one that brings together all the other arts. Writers, designers, musicians, actors. Video games call on artists and technicians of every stripe. These artists feed off countless influences and digest them in their own projects. Loads of legendary game creators cite films as influences. Kojima, creator of Metal Gear, took inspiration from Snake Plissken for Solid Snake. The creator of Max Payne was influenced by film noir. Resident Evil leaned on Shining and zombie flicks. So it's kind of twisted for filmmakers to adapt works from a medium inspired by their own craft. Why bother? Maybe it's some twisted sense of the cinematic circle being complete. Except more often than not, the guys at the helm are glorified hacks. Studios hire these adaptations out to the lowest bidder or to total yes men, showing just how little they actually care about gaming and gamers. Uwe Boll alone, a true contender for worst director of all time,
I'm the only genius in the whole fucking business. Goodbye.
Cranked out more than a dozen game movie adaptations. Most adaptations suffer from the clueless image the people in charge have of video games. They cough up perfectly lit, coldly precise visuals like some soulless cutscene, forgetting that gaming is about more than that. Sure, games take cinematic cues, but what makes them unique isn't just staging, it's the storytelling and gameplay. Games are about choice, or the illusion of it. As the player, you decide the path your character takes, which actions to perform. You directly influence the story's outcome. Lots of games offer alternative endings based on your personal choices. And it's rare for an adaptation to benefit from a director with real understanding or vision for the medium. Doom didn't break the mold. It let down the fans, the ones who wanted a balls-to-the-wall, wild, thrilling movie, only to get limp mush, barely any action, and sets you could trip over in the dark. That much hyped FPS Scene, supposedly a faithful tribute to the game's spirit, is actually just a big, fat sign the movie failed. Entrapping the audience in the POV, it's like having someone elbow you in the theater whispering, "See what they did there." Anyone who's ever held a controller knows how infuriating it is to sit and watch someone else play. All that scene does is make you want to hit ESC and go back to your desktop. The act of nodding to the original work in an adaptation is a misplaced trap where many video game adaptations have inevitably stumbled. Imagine you're watching The Shining and suddenly Hollywood still hasn't learned. And with the baffling success of the Minecraft movie, don't expect studios to wise up anytime soon. There's maybe a glimmer of hope on the horizon. Christoph Gans will soon release Return to Silent Hill. Gans had already adapted Silent Hill in 2006. Flawed, perhaps, but at least he understood the game's vibe. Let's hope the upcoming generation of directors who grew up gamepad in hand will treat games and gamers with the respect they deserve. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You'll find links below if you'd like to purchase the films we talked about. We really appreciate your support, and we'll see you in 2 weeks for another episode of Hypercut Chronicles.